sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, appreciate you guys being here. My name is Andrew David. This is Blake Newbar's partner program. I'm going to give you an update, kind of what to expect over the next few days and week or so going into next week. Some stuff happening. I'll talk to you about in a minute. What I wanted to chat a little bit about is decision making decisions in your life, making decisions in your business. You know, there are things going on, opportunities that abound if you just open the door sometimes and put yourself in the right situation. Always look to put yourself in a situation that you can advance in a way that you wouldn't normally. Now, what do I mean by this? We've all got opportunities to be uncomfortable, right? Growth is exactly that. It is a pathway filled with discomfort, filled with frustration, and opportunities that only come about when you're willing to put yourself there. And it's one of the things that long-term is going to separate you from where you are and where you really want to be, is finding those opportunities, knocking those doors down, walking through them, reaching out to others and doing all these things. So difficult decisions, how do you make it? I'm going to give you 4 real simple questions that you can ask yourself when making a major decision. Okay, that's it. 4 things. Now, I'm not talking about, should I get up and work out? Should I create this video? Will this video work? Bigger decisions, bigger things. You know, that relationship, asking the girl to marry you, walking away from a relationship maybe that's not so great, getting a new job, walking away from the job that you have, building this business up to a certain level, finding some kind of partnership, stepping into something else, maybe going to some major event or investing in something. There's all sorts of different major decisions, you know, buying the new house, selling the house. Is this the right time? All of these things are elements that you need to be willing to ask yourself at times. A lot of us get stuck when it comes time to make a decision because we're so caught up in how things have always been. All right, we're kind of talking about that with the relationships that you have. Are you hanging around with the people where when it's time to make these decisions, they say, well, this is how you would have done it. This is how you should do it. This is how we've always done it. If you hear any of those things coming out of your mouth or anyone around you, I say run, get away from them, because you need to look at who you're trying to be and where you're looking to go. So I'm going to give you 4 questions to ask, and they're real simple. Okay, so here you go. Number 1, what is the upside? If I invest in this, if I sell that, if I walk away from this relationship, if I get into this relationship, what is the upside? And maybe I should have spread these out so you don't get them all at once. The second one, what's the downside? Question 3, am I willing to work for the resources needed to achieve the upside? And number 4, can I live with the downside? Right? Worst case scenario, best case scenario. Best case scenario, 99 times out of 100 will involve upping your resources. Now, whether that means time, effort, money, other people's talents, right? Partnerships, mentors, whatever. Most big projects, most big decisions aren't necessarily going to be something that you can do on your own with the things that you have in hand. Is that a simple statement we can agree on? Yes? Okay. Most things, if you're looking at a big upside, big decision, you're going to need some help from somewhere. So what is the upside? Are you willing to work or do whatever you need in order to get the resources to achieve the upside? So sometimes one of those resources may be the humility to listen to somebody else. It may be finances. It may be setting aside things that we like so that we've got the time and we put the effort into achieving what we want. Number 3, along those lines is, so again, upside, downside. Number 3 is willing to work for it. Number 4, can I live with the downside? Okay. Real simple. Now, here's how you judge it then. If the answer is yes to 3 and 4, and you like 1 and 2, then move forward. And that's it. Stop questioning. Just do it. What is the upside? What is the downside? Am I willing to work for the resources to achieve it? Can I live with the downside? If 3 and 4 are yes, then do it. And quit waiting. Quit talking about it. Quit spinning around over and over and over, the paralysis by analysis. But what about this? And maybe I should think about this. And there's this to think about, and what's happening with the economy and what's happening with. Stop. Just go. Most of the time, the big downside isn't as scary as we think it is. Most of the time, oftentimes, the upside is bigger than we're already imagining. Some of you guys have some goals where your upside is significantly lower than what it could be if you gather the right resources and you put in the right effort. So you just decide, what's the worst thing that can happen? You know, over the course of the last, I don't know, let's look at the last 15, 20 years. Professional decisions. Think about your life. Things that you've let go by the wayside, times that you didn't take advantage of something. I've joked about this before, but you know, Bitcoin, I think, is an easy example. Being introduced to it, I don't know, 10, 12 years, whenever it started, and going, no, I don't want to put that $200 in. The downside would have been losing $200. I don't think at the time any of us would have thought what the upside could have been, right? Then I look at, you know, this kind of world that I live in now, of personal development and online marketing and business building, content and relationships and mentorship and everything else. This all started years ago when I was doing cleaning and restoration. I always talk about Joe Polish and that Piranha Marketing and the Platinum Group that we joined, and I was paying $1,000 a month for that Piranha Group, and we were in it for 2.5 years or so, 3 years before I went through divorce and everything else happened. So 2.5, 3 years there, $30,000 or so into that program. Now we earned it with that business, like it helped that cleaning and restoration business. But every single month we would have that conversation, like, oh, do we want to keep doing this? Do we want to go to that event? You know, the money that we're going to put out for it. Every month we're making this decision. Now, as I look back, and oftentimes this is what you see when you're right up front. Every single month we were making $1,000 decision, or every year we were making a $12,000 decision. Now, as I look back, I can trace everything that I've done over the course of the last maybe 15 years to making those decisions, right? The things that I've learned, books that I started reading, people that I started following, relationships that I started to build, and then what allowed that to kind of transition into where I'm at now. You know, getting into online marketing, one of the first things that allowed me to do that was a conversation that I had with my buddy, Jason Howell, that some of you guys have met. He's on one of the calls going back. I'm going to have him on again. That conversation happened because I was there and we started talking about Brendon Burchard. I met Brendon Burchard because of the Joe Polish stuff when I was doing cleaning and restoration. It's these series of events. That $1,000 decision, yeah, it was $1,000 every single month. But now as I look back, between what I've generated for myself, the money I've made for me, and the money that I've helped make for other businesses overall, reach up into very, very high 8 figures, because we decided to go to a Piranha Marketing event and started to invest little by little, right? What is the upside? What is the downside? Are you willing to put in the work to achieve the upside, to resource up? And then are you willing to live with the downside? The downside at the time would have been losing $1,000. I could never have imagined what the upside was going to be. You guys, I promise, are in that position right now. You don't know what the upside is going to be. Get your video done, launch your damn funnel, get your ass to the gym, reach out to somebody to mentor them or to get mentored, build a relationship, do something more. And push all of the time. And every time you've got an opportunity, ask yourself this question: what's the upside here? If I show up for this live event, or if I reach out to this person, what's the upside? What's the downside? Oh, they don't respond to me. I don't meet somebody there, right? Once live events are really kicking off and they're kind of going again, guys, and I'm hoping to get, again, I'm having dinner with Blake tonight, so that's going to be my main push tonight. It's always, Blake, when are we going to do an event? But guys, Worst case scenario, you go to a live event. What happens? You spend a few $100 on a vacation to some city that you've never been to. You learn something. That's your downside. Your upside, maybe you run into a partner, right? One event that I went to in Vegas, I met the guy that took me from, 8 to 10K up to the next level personally. Introduced me to some other opportunities there, and on and on and on. Decide what you're going to do, guys. What's the upside? What's the downside? Are you willing to chase after the resources to achieve it? And are you okay? Are you willing to live with the downside? If the answer to 3 and 4 is yes, and you feel okay about 1 and 2, then move forward. Quit questioning yourselves. You're capable of more than you're currently doing. Make it happen. Rise up. Fly like the phoenixes that you are. All right. Awesome. Love you. Sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are.